Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to another edition of bBULLbreakdown. After the game on Friday versus the Pacers, it's pretty clear to me that Derrick Rose is on a mission not only to get the best point guard in the league stature, but also there are little shouts out for MVP. Here's an interesting wrinkle to the Bulls offense. They'll have Derrick Rose pass the ball to Deng on the wing, and then he'll cut through but come right back up in the pinch post, and they'll get Deng coming around the corner attacking. However, Roy Hibbert gets there for the block. Here's our obligatory bad boozer defense sequence. You'll see Hansbrough shot fake and he goes for it, and jab step and he goes for it. He gets the wide open shot but misses. But Boozer will even it out by abusing Hansbrough down low in the post. Here's some really troubling form by Hansbrough. He goes up and almost shoots it with two hands. His right hand will then pronate twice after he releases it, which is just not right. In transition, Ronnie Brewer will do a terrible job finding Mike Dunleavy, who goes right to the basket for a layup. The Bulls' defense has improved immeasurably under Thibodeau. See how Derrick Rose can ride Collison out of the lane, and then when Deng closes out on Granger, he moves his feet, blocks his shot, and then pressures the second shot for a miss. Boozer is best when he gets the ball low post and does a quick move. But watch how indecisive he is here and holds the ball for several seconds before shooting a fadeaway that misses against Tyler Hansbrough of all people. Again in the post, for some reason, Boozer is unwilling to execute a move quickly, and he ultimately holds the ball for a long time and then tries to go baseline and cannot finish. Here's a nice out-of-bounds play run by the Pacers. They're actually going to do a flex cut, and that causes the Bulls defenders to run into each other, thereby opening up Granger coming around that screen, and he gets to the basket and finishes strong. Here, Boozer solves his problems and does a very quick move against Hansbrough. Someone tell Josh McRoberts if you don't hedge on a screen and roll against Rose, he's going to turn the corner and do a little floater in your face. One of the keys for the Bulls was Granger shooting poorly, and Deng made him work for everything. Watch him on a nice move here. He gets open and normally makes that, but Deng threw his timing off. The Bulls have a luxury in CJ Watson. When they bring Rose out and put him in, they don't lose too much because he can blow by his defender like he does here against TJ Ford and dish as a Sheik gets an and one. Kyle Korver isn't just helping with his shooting. Watch this thread-the-needle pass as both Hansbrough and Foster don't see the ball well enough and should have gotten a hand on it, but again, beautiful pass, nice finish. Derrick Rose's defense has also really improved. Watch how he rotates over on Foster and bothers his layup attempt until it misses. Deng gets a steal when the ball bounces off of Granger's chest, but listen to the announcer as he celebrates that steal. Luol Deng. Pretty creepy, huh? I'm not a big fan of Kurt Thomas's outside shot at any time, and I know that Bulls fans will tell me he can make this shot. He needs to be at least a step in from that spot. Here's why Bogans is such a nice thing to have on defense. You'll see him as his man cuts through, he'll notice there's going to be a screen here and he has to help out. He lets his man go, comes over and rotates beautifully, stops the shot from happening in the post, and Kurt Thomas comes down. And it's just Deng is one half step a little slow on that Dunleavy three. And Stacey King is just wigging me out on this color commentary.
Give it to me, big sexy.
No thanks, Stacey. Let's move on to the Miami Heat game from Saturday. It was an epic, exciting game between two really good teams. Dwayne Wade was pretty much unstoppable, except for when he had foul trouble in the third quarter. And again, Derrick Rose is becoming one of the best guards in the league and certainly deserves mention in the MVP race. That said, I also think that Kyle Korver has been making a pretty big push toward becoming perhaps the starting guard for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls opened up in a weird defensive matchup where they had Kurt Thomas guarding Bosh and Boozer guarding Zydrunas Ilgauskas. It worked okay on this possession as Thomas forced him farther than he wanted to be. However, Boozer on the weak side can't box Z out and they get the rebound. Fortunately for the Bulls, Jones burped up a bad shot. Luol Deng is blossoming into a great player on offense, certainly, almost a little bit like a Scottie Pippen where he can score from anywhere on the floor. After getting a cross screen from Rose, he posts up on Jones and just abuses him down low with a turnaround jump shot. The Bulls are running a ton of high post. Here you'll see UCLA cut by Deng, and since Rose is handling the ball, they're going to screen for him and then Boozer will roll and hit a nice little jumper. Same exact play, only this time Rose is going to miss Boozer, who's wide open on that roll. So instead they finally get the pick and roll going again, but this time they rotate over much better and there isn't a shot, they can't swing the ball, and Rose has to toss up a shot from the baseline. Here's the Bulls high post adjustment. When Bogans has the ball in the wing, they're going to have Rose do a UCLA cut, but they're not going to screen for Bogans. They're going to screen away for Boozer and then screen for Deng down low, who gets great position and ultimately gets a foul call and 2 free throws. The Heat go to Bosh on the right side of the floor where he loves it up there on the high post. He blows by Boozer, but with good hands, Boozer's able to knock the ball away. The one thing he does pretty well on defense. And here's Rose, a man among boys, goes right to the basket and blows right by Wade for the layup. If you think that Bogans gets no respect, look how much space Wade is giving Brewer here. For a pro, that's ridiculous. But then watch how bad Wade is on the weak side as he completely turns his head, has no idea where his man is, and his man gets a layup. But he gets it blocked. The Bulls set up again, but this time Brewer is going to take advantage of the poor defense that Wade is showing and nail a jumper in his face. Taj Gibson is a pleasure to watch on defense as he helps, he recovers, he has a lot of activity on defense by moving his feet. He's just a great guy to have coming off the bench with a lot of energy, and he can score. Now watch the pressure he puts on the dribbler here, and Juwan Howard, though, is going to kind of let the ball go out of bounds. And Howard's going to hurt them again here as he doesn't catch the ball for another layup. Ronnie Brewer's defense is terrific here as he stops Wade from getting to the basket, but it's not consistent. Watch here as he gets a deflection and then doesn't hustle back into the play when he has plenty of opportunities to get in front of Wade, who then gets a tip in. And after Kurt Thomas screens and rolls, this is the shot that he can make, about 8 feet from the basket on the baseline. James Jones falls asleep in transition, and you'll see he's guarding Boozer instead of his man. That slight little closeout delay causes the entire Heat team to have to rotate, where Rose gets to show off his improved three-point shot. And to show it was no fluke, here it is again. This has to be one of the most dramatic stats I've seen as far as improvement from one season to the next. As Wade penetrates, watch how Chris Bosh is going to fade away beyond the three-point line instead of moving in to get an easy shot. Here, Dwayne Wade can choose between either Bosh or Jones and instead throws it to the corner, which is not open, and they pass up an obviously good shot. Arroyo makes things worse by taking a contested jump shot with Derrick Rose in his face, and he misses. The Bulls' defense is so much better than last year. Watch how Rose will switch and handle Dwayne Wade. Bogans will cover his man and stop the penetration, and you'll see a really nice closeout and a contest by Deng. We didn't see this kind of effort across the board last year. You can't say Boozer isn't trying all the time on defense. Here he's going to hedge and help and stop the penetration, close back out on Bosh nicely, and then they do it again, and this time he'll close out and force Bosh into a bad miss. I'd love to see him box out on that shot, but you can't win them all. Thibodeau has improved the team offense considerably. Watch how they screen away for Rose, then they get screened right on the ball for him. They're going to do a nice little high-low, get the middle of the basket, and then get it to Kurt Thomas, who's still a little far for my taste. The Heat shot themselves in the foot here. Without Wade in, Bosh is their one true threat on offense, and they need a bucket down by 10. Instead, Chalmers is going to throw up a 3 with 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's one of those plays that shuts down Twitter because of so many tweets. Watch how he splits that hedge and gets right to the basket. And you can practice this. I'm sure he does it often because he explodes so quickly that it clearly is something that he must have worked on quite often. The Heat have turned up the intensity and are making a run, and the Bulls screw up their rotations by having 2 guys come over to stop the ball handler. They get out of sorts here. That means Kurt Thomas has to close out and fouls the three-point shooter, and he makes it. Derrick Rose is being considered for the MVP, and here's why. He gets to the basket, they play good defense, and he misses, but on the putback, he's going to shoot it lefty over Joel Anthony. Remember when I said that when Boozer holds the ball for too long, he ends up not making a very good move? Well, here's another example of that, and Chris Bosh does nicely on defense, but Boozer needs to do something quicker to get off that shot. If Boozer is not going to score on his end, he's already let Bosh score once the trip down before, and now he's going to let him bank it in here. He's going to hurt the Bulls when he's not scoring well enough down low.
You know that Dwayne Wade's going to shoot the ball, and here you're going to see Deng bite on a fake drive and hit a 3. I would double team him and get the ball out of his hands. Up by 2, they're going to have Derrick Rose go one-on-one against Chalmers. Not a terrible idea, but I would love to see the Bulls run a little bit more offense. Here it works for them as a shot fake and a foul and one gets the Bulls a 5-point lead. Miami comes back down, and Deng gives Wade a little bit too much room. Not a lot of offense here, but he pulls up and hits a tough 3 from way beyond the arc. Aside from a Kyle Korver attempted screen, this is basically a one-on-one against Chalmers again. What I don't like about it is that most of the Bulls are just standing around. It's easy to defend, and here comes the steal because the guy wasn't moving on the wing. Because of the steal and the quick transition, the Bulls are out of sorts here, and they have C.J. Watson guarding Dwayne Wade, who fakes, gets a three and a little bump, but no call. After another one-on-one drive by Derrick Rose and a missed attempt by Boozer, you're going to see Kyle Korver come flying in there and just throw up a three. You know, good open shot, but still kind of lucky it went to him like that. On the out-of-bounds play down by 2, Miami runs a little play to get the ball to Wade, and it's a real simple screen and roll. The problem here is that Wade decides to split the screen, which is very risky because he's dribbling the ball between 2 guys. Obviously, the ball gets knocked out. Miami doesn't know what the heck to do. They don't have any more timeouts, I believe, so they have to throw the ball around, and Chalmers ends up getting a long shot with 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Not the best shot, but what are you going to do? The Bulls are up by 3, and they have to stop Wade from shooting a 3. Well, I think Brewer's on the wrong side. He should be between the ball and his man. Let Wade go toward the basket. Instead, he's behind him and trailing, gets screened off. Wade should have just pulled up and shot it. Instead, he fakes, hoping to maybe get a foul, and then ends up shooting an air ball, and the game's over. Great game. Kyle Korver was in the right place at the right time and knocked down a really big shot. And they played enough defense to distract Wade from hitting a 3 to win the game. Let's move on to the Martin Luther King Day game versus the Grizzlies. It appears to me that the Grizzlies are on their way to just playing the string out for the rest of the season without much energy. Because the Bulls didn't even have Boozer, but they could put Taj Gibson in, who is extremely good and does a lot of things that Boozer can't, mainly on the defensive end. And Luol Deng is really having a career resurgence. The Bulls are back at their high post, but this time since Bogan has the ball, they're not going to screen for him. Deng is going to screen away and then get a screen himself across the lane for a beautiful little jump shot. Same offense, but this time Rose has the ball in the wing, so they're going to screen for him instead of Deng going away. They roll. Memphis does a pretty good job defending it, so they just space the floor again, and they get Bogans on the weak side, who hits a nice jumper. Who says he can't score? The Bulls defense is prepared for this play going to Gasol on the low post. You'll see that Kurt Thomas leaves his man to help take away that pass. While I'm not a big Kurt Thomas fan, watch what he has to go through on a routine basis fighting for position down there with Zach Randolph. If you don't form a wall against Derrick Rose as he comes down the court, he's simply going to score on you. And this is against 5 other pros. This is why he's the best point guard in the NBA. And they're running great out-of-bounds plays, too. Here you'll see Kyle Korver on the weak side. He gets 2 screens on either side, and it's his choice which side he wants to come up on. He fakes to his right, comes up on the left, and watch how Marc Gasol has to help out on the good shooter, leaving Taj Gibson wide open for a layup. However, when you're shooting as well as Kyle Korver has been, what the heck? And Kyle Korver's defense has been terrific, too. In this play, Memphis is going to be required to throw the ball from Gay to Mayo on the other side. Watch Kyle Korver take away that pass. The whole offense shuts down, and it leaves one-on-one with Gay, who takes a bad shot on top. When you run screen and rolls, you're usually concerned about the guy going over the screen, but what happens when he goes back the other way like that and Mayo gets scored on? There's not much you can do when you got Rose coming down the lane like that. Kyle Korver wishes Sam Young played against him all the time, because watch how he completely loses him, doesn't follow him across the court, and he just runs to the three-point line and shoots it. The Bulls need to clean up their rotations on help a little bit better. Here you're going to see Gibson and Thomas go to help out on Rudy Gay. Only one of them should go. As a result, Marc Gasol gets in there and gets a tip in. Derrick Rose is going to take on all 5 guys, blow by everybody, and get to the rim for a layup. The only other guy in the league that can do this is Russell Westbrook. Watch how Derrick Rose goes to the basket and 4 Grizzlies come and collapse, leaving Deng wide open for a three-pointer. Game over. So there you have it, Bulls fans. There's lots to be positive about because the Bulls are playing terrific basketball without Noah, who fills all the extra holes that they're missing right now with Kurt Thomas playing. Now, don't get me wrong, Kurt Thomas is serviceable, but he ain't the kind of guy you want starting for you if you want to be an elite team. That said, I think I might have the solution for the Bulls. I think that they should start Taj Gibson at power forward and let Carlos Boozer be the small forward, and they can solve their shooting guard problems by letting Luol Deng play there. You heard me right. Luol Deng should play shooting guard alongside Derrick Rose. I really feel like it gives them their best defensive team, and it gives them an opportunity to attack on offense without losing anything. We'll see what happens, but certainly Kyle Korver might be able to get plugged into that role as well. And when Noah comes back, they deserve to be an elite team among the likes of the Boston Celtics and Orlando Magic and Miami Heat. Lots to be excited for, so stay tuned for even more on bBULLbreakdown this week. And don't forget, it's not a channel, it's a conversation.